In game 1, we have Giants. In the top lane will be Smittyj, jungle Maxlore, mid lane Knight, ADC SONSTAR, support Hustlin, and coach Lozar.
Yeah, Giants going up against the crowd favorite here. Massively considered the underdog. Still looking for their first win, be it game or match or series, whatever you want to call it. Giants haven't won a single match of League of Legends so far, so they're looking for redemption, and it's definitely going to be this match. Unicorns look weak. They're pretty high in the standings, but they leave a lot to be desired. And Giants, it may be the game for them to take it home.
I mean, that's pretty much it, right? Like, if you're going to pick up a win here against any team, it's going to be against Unicorns. To be fair, they've had a strong strength of schedule so far, but it's really important now to try and get these wins early on into the season, because later on it will be tough.
This will be a gauge for how good Giants is as a team, how well they've developed the fundamentals, as well as a precursor to what could be a match that decides, 7th spot, 8th spot, relegations or not, seeding going into relegations. That is something these organizations have to sadly already start thinking about. Yeah,
because maybe some of these players, well, we've seen like some shining lights on that team. Like Knight has done okay in his matchups, has been against very difficult matchups. In the bot lane, SONSTAR has made some very questionable decisions. And I don't think that was determined by who was he playing against. It was just kind of...
It's a lot of it is communications. Right? These guys have solid basics of the game that individually they're not bad players, but the team play is not there. The communication is not there. Yes, they had a really tough strength of schedule. Let's just repeat again, G2 Esports, H2K, Fnatic, and now they're finally playing against the Unicorns of Love. And this is the first match where you're like, maybe Giants, 2-0 wouldn't be the biggest surprise in the world. I think it would still be unexpected. A 1-1 is definitely something you could get out of this matchup. The other ones a lot rougher for the Giants.
Yeah, it's been a tough journey for Giants, but yeah, really this game and this series, this set, maybe they can show what they're made of. But yeah, it's not really been like a lot of individual mistakes though. I feel like the team as a whole has been kind of making some problems, but they still have like had good moments where the team fights have been pretty strong, getting like maybe later into the game, but often they've kind of fallen by the wayside before really getting there.
Yeah, the biggest problem is just it seems that SONSTAR is not on the same page when he needs to arrive at these team fights. Very often they're fighting when he's in base, running back to the fight, joins a little bit late, falls behind in CS in lane, so you have no pressure, and it's so hard to play without pressure. It's so hard for any individual good player to shine sometimes on these lower tier teams because he has to do double the work. A good player on a good team can shine. A good player on a bad team has to kind of overcompensate, and he will develop bad habits too, and maybe not be able to capitalize on every play either because there's just simply no backup, or he doesn't have the faith anymore, and then things start spiraling downwards.
Yeah, it's interesting because we're almost getting a lineup which is very similar to the last Giants lineup, where like the guy in the mid lane is carrying a lot of the weight, but we'll see as we get into game. And on the opposite side though, it is the Unicorns of Love, who, as you mentioned, appear to be the crowd favorites here, just a little bit. Top lane Chachi, jungle Move, mid lane Exileh, ADC Veritas, support Hylissang, and of course their coach Sheepy.
Yeah, Move and Exileh, definitely two players you want to talk about. They're enjoying the crowd cheers right now. They played a very complex 1-3-1 composition that actually looked like they were pulling it off for the majority of the time, but then the stage nerves got to this guy on your screen, Exileh right there with the Yasuo. He just kept going for fights he didn't need to take. There wasn't any cross-map potential. The whole 1-3-1 strategy started falling down, and Unicorns went back to kind of their old self, stuck in the chaos, stuck in kind of improper gameplay. But there was a beacon of hope for a very short time.
There was. They've also tried a lot of different things. We saw the Yasuo, we saw Chachi bust out the Illaoi. We've seen all these different picks come out from the Unicorns. I'm not sure if they're just trying to live up to what the Unicorns used to be, which was these crazy picks and try and make them work, the Shakos and the Udyrs and all of that type of stuff. But sometimes you don't need to go crazy. You can just play what works,
Definitely look for comfort picks if you can. And this may be the time, Pulsey, that we finally get the Illaoi coming out.
That would be the dream, at least for me, because we've had two so far, and I actually had one on stream earlier today from, I believe, Wonder. So come on, Unicorns, don't fail me now.
We also have Maxlore chanting along with the Unicorns chant in chat in the game lobby. We're about 30 seconds out, maybe a minute, guys, before we can get there. He's spamming out Unicorns, Unicorns. All players are in the lobby. I just added a couple of safety 20 seconds just in case, but it looks like it won't be needed. We're heading into Champ Select. Unicorns versus the Giants. Let's get this show on the road.
Let's go. Okay, getting into Champion Select here. And looking at those first couple bans coming through. Man, the crowd is already hyping Champion Select. I want to see what they do when we're in game and
Well, they're
people
going to
start
scream.
dying.
At this point, they're going to scream regardless. It's like, oh,
That's
Summoner's
true.
Rift, Tower.
I mean, I'll be honest, it's about pacing, right? You
Yeah.
want to make sure that you scream at the hype moments, but we do have those bans now coming through. It will be LeBlanc and Trundle coming out from Giant, so taking that away from the Flex and also away from Exileh in the mid lane. Fizz also aimed at Knight, so taking that one away, and Ryze.
Yeah, very often in these kind of lower tier games, you just want to remove the possibility of individuals single-handedly carrying the game, and that's why picks like Trundle taking off here. Exileh LeBlanc that he did so well on last week, taking off the table, but we still have to give attention to the generic OP mid lane picks.
Sure.
So this last ban may very well be a Vladimir on the side of Unicorns as well. Wouldn't be all too surprising.
Yeah, not at all. Vlad and Ryze seem to be the go-to bans right now for these teams. And Braum was the final one actually coming out from Giants, taking that away from Hylissang's pool. Last ban's going to be Sivir coming in from Unicorns. So
a lackluster Sivir from SONSTAR still being targeted, leaving open to Vladimir. This is questionable. Let's see if Giants can play this Vladimir and bring it home.
We've seen lots of interesting picks go into the Vladimir, but he has a really oppressive laning phase, which is difficult to play around. First two pickups coming in from the Unicorns will be Caitlyn and Maokai. So playing more meta right here, and we're not going to see the Illaoi this game.
Ooh. I like thinking about drafts like this and be like, okay, so you have two champions that do very well in team fights that can also kite the Vladimir. It's great, but I wonder if what happens if Giants, and this is almost too hypothetical, draft like super winning lane, so they get like an Echo early that can challenge the Maokai in terms of push. Vladimir can push in a lot of lanes in the mid lane, and then you go for like an Ashe plus a range support to deal with the Caitlyn, and then suddenly you can just snowball all over Unicorns of Love lineup.
Let's see if that is the case in this game. Next two pickups from Giants will be Nidalee out for the jungle and Gragas as the flex, but we'll be going to top lane this time since we've had mid and jungle picked up.
Still a more oppressive top laner. Gragas should control the wave and push in Maokai early. He won't make a dent in a solo kill 1v1, but he can set up for a good jungle game for sure.
He will indeed. So Giants have their first three picks of this champion select, looking towards Unicorns of Love now, and their next two pickups. Support still available, jungle and mid lane. May even leave support till last. We see more and more teams do that now. And what will it be? Lots still available in the jungle. Graves, Kindred, Rek'Sai.
I mean, if they opt for the Rek'Sai, they're playing double tank, which means they'll need a lot of additional damage from the mid lane, and that almost has to be then a Victor, I feel. To really get to the high damage output. Kind of like what Rocket was pulling off. Caitlyn Karma, incredibly oppressive lane. But if the Caitlyn somehow falls behind, tricky.
Okay, it's going to be Rek'Sai and Karma. A lot of excitement for that Karma pickup coming in here. And Unicorns will take that one away. So, could be flexed, but still waiting on a mid lane pick, most likely. And looking towards what Giants are going to pick up now. They use an ADC and a support. SONSTAR, I feel, has been called out a lot. I think a lot of it has been decision-making, but...
I don't like the Jhin.
No.
Just for the exact reasons that you were about to mention and expand on as I interrupted you right there. But yeah, if he's getting caught all the time, having a champion that has to stand still and just let fire his ultimate, it seems to be very easy for him to get caught out. I like the Ashe a lot more.
Indeed, can play a little further from range and, of course, set up fights with his ultimate. And looking towards the support as well from Hustlin. We've seen actually Hustlin default to Nautilus a lot of the time. It's kind of his pick.
That was started week 1, though he hasn't really brought it back week 2, realizing that it was a bit too much like paper, too little impact. Conditional engage is better, the ones where you can actually opt in whether you follow up or not. Going for the Ashe Nami lane. I think it can definitely hold its own against Karma Caitlyn if you play correctly.
Crowd going crazy for Draven Ori, but Hylissang does that every time. It's like paying homage. But the pickup will be Yasuo, back for Exile. Picked that yesterday, in fact, and going to give it another shot.
It's actually really cute. Hylissang always does it for his girlfriend. I think her name is Dory, that's why. So very endearing.
Not Dravori.
Not Dravori, no. It's short.
It's short.
Dory is short for Dravori.
So Yasuo coming out once again, coming up against this Vladimir will be an interesting match.
Not a fan here, Pulse.
No? Why is that crap? Explain to me.
I mean, Yasuo, I think just gets hard counted by Exhaust for one. Exhaust Yasuo wasn't really that great to watch. Because the damage comes at the end of the ulti animation for Yasuo, which means it's the easiest exhaust for a support's life. And then there's just simply a lack of damage on the side of Unicorns. They really need to snowball. It's snowball or bust for them.
Yeah, pretty much. Get into that mid game and hopefully the laning phase has gone well, because otherwise Vladimir is just going to scale up and just murder your entire team. And Giants do not have any problems getting into a fight with Gragas, Ashe coming into this lineup as well. And Nami even getting into this one. But before we head into game, guys, jump on Twitter and tweet at LOL Esports using the hashtags GIA win and hashtag UOL win. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of tweets coming specifically from this crowd for the Unicorns coming into this game. But get in on that, and we'll be checking in later into this game. But we will be heading now onto the Rift. Our second series here in the studio will be Giants Gaming up against the Unicorns of Love. What are they going to be doing in this game? They're going to be heading off the spawn pad and heading into their jungle. A lot of hype for this one. And
a lot of hype as I spill half my water over my shirt.
That is unfortunate. At least it's something that won't stain Crepper, so hopefully it will dry by the time we're back on camera.
Hoping for a long game here.
Yep. Well, at least it's not the worst color. Wearing what, purple today, so.
Yeah, no wet t-shirt contest today, sadly.
Oh, maybe it was. Yeah, it was intentional.
Yeah. Oops, I'm out.
Oops.
You know how to have this spilling water again all over myself.
Why are you pointing over your hair, Crepper? Yeah, so Exileh walking into this mid lane here. Knight's going to go onto the bottom side, and just wards are coming out. Of course, we can still have a lane swap. We saw that in the first game where Rockout were just chilling on their side of the map and then swapping up a little bit later, depending on what they wanted to do. But
yeah, Hylissang aware of having to snowball too early, ignite on this Karma pick. Can be used to reduce the healing from Vladimir, so it has at least influence in combat. Swapping away this Maokai from the Gragas I think would be wise for the Unicorns. But at the same time, getting more experience funneled early into the AD carry
Minions have spawned.
could be dangerous if the support roams, but at least they're not going to be roaming and going to be keeping him down.
Yep. Very true. Top lane, Veritas is going up there with Hylissang.
Yeah, he's still on the Unicorns.
Yep, still on
You would
Unicorns.
forget sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, Exileh into this mid lane as well. So, sitting in this bush right now. Actually going to head out onto this ward, so now Giants have that knowledge. Going to ping it out. And Maxlore going to start off his jungle as well. So, fairly standard starts up here. I'm just going to see Smittyj up there try and get some of that farm.
You know what, Pulse?
What Creppo?
I'm getting a little tired of lane swaps.
Yeah.
And I used to love lane swaps.
Look at his aggression from
There we
Hylissang.
go.
Gonna be getting him under this tower. Thunderlord proc as well. Look at the damage. What
That's
a play!
but that's actually a big play.
Yeah.
Like, he puts so much advantage on the side of move. Who's going untouched. Maxlore right now has to start doing Raptors, which is significantly harder than Wolves very early.
Maxlore versus
Yeah, he's struggling.
this is the chicken.
Like, he has to group.
My
his-
money's on the chicken.
Let's go, chicken.
Oh, Maxlore.
Imagine if he dies. He's got it though.
He's got it. He's good. I think. Yep. Last spear.
Oh, he canceled his
Okay.
auto attack. Imagine if you die on stage by canceling your auto attack.
And we
on
saw
a
the whole
chicken.
trade as well.
This also means if Hylissang actually uses Ignite, he could have not done that.
Yeah.
If Hylissang ignited Maxlore, he probably could have not survived that.
That's actually true. But couldn't have predicted the strength of the Raptor coming out there. Still push into the lane. Move is going to be in the jungle as well. Mid lane trade onto Knight. Exileh already
minions.
getting aggressive and he's going to put so much damage down onto Knight as he's trying to retreat. Exileh was getting punished by those caster minions there.
Yeah, very dangerous to go in without the wind wall. Just have to block any projectiles. You always lose the back end of that trade. And obviously, a rough first start here for the Giants lineup because their jungler is one that relies so heavily on outpacing and out-farming his opponent. And he's just now, at 3 minutes 20, starting his second camp in the game.
Yeah, it's not looking good. He's going to have to smite that one away and try and get some health back. But yeah, he's level 2 compared to the level 3 of move. He is way ahead in jungle tempo. In the top lane, though, Unicorns are going to carry on pushing. Most likely give this one over to Chachi. Bring the spooky Maokai skin. No cats today. Exileh's going to jump in here, get the easy knock-up.
Yeah, he's suffering though, behind in CS again, so he goes for these very aggressive trade patterns. But Doran's shield here adaptation from Knight makes it so that he's comfortable in this matchup, so this kind of pick not really working out just yet.
This has been a very entertaining laning phase. But Exileh,
I'm just trying to fit, how does it fit with Unicorns?
I don't really know, but I'm enjoying it regardless. I don't think it has to make sense, really.
Well, it definitely doesn't.
No. Oh, Exileh, I think in this mid lane. I want to see if he's got any of the sick Yasuo techniques where you do the air blade. I want to see someone do that. But right now it's going to be tossing
Air
out
blade, that
tornadoes.
sounds like a fancy name for like a vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, the air
The
blade.
Dyson Air Blade.
Yeah. It's going to be maybe more exciting than that. I don't know. Maybe you find vacuum cleaners very exciting. I'm not judging.
There was that one guy that did an AMA on Reddit. It was like a vacuum
really?
cleaning and repairman. It was one of the most fascinating AMAs ever.
Wow. I didn't catch
There
that,
you
but
go.
maybe I need to go back and
Go back in time.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Knight's going to be walking up and trying to push back the Dyson air blade.
Oh, he's a little frozen. He's a little frozen right there in the lane. So it worked yesterday a little bit. I'm still behind the CS, but definitely Knight watched that game. Was like, yeah, I think I can do this better. Picks up the door and shield, and Exileh on the pick, the cornerstone of this composition. You know, flash in from Vizicsacsi, Q, 3 members, knock up. You know, move, flash, double knock up, and then the Yasuo ulti to follow up for maybe negative damage at this point.
Yeah.
Exileh needs to get back into the game.
Really has gone for those double Darren's Blaze just to try and stop the bleeding in mid lane, but he's so far behind in CS right now.
Yeah, and Blades generally don't do that well at stopping bleeding.
That's true.
More often than not, they are the cause.
Well, I
of
mean,
said
right
bleeding.
now, Exileh's really just trying to suck up this farm in the mid lane,
Yeah.
but he's struggling to do so. Something's stuck. But Chachi, he's in the bot lane. He's level 2 versus Smittyj, who's level 5 right now.
Hell happened to this lane
30, yeah, I actually don't know. 30 farms of 4.
Wait, how does he have 4
What
CS?
happened?
How did we miss this?
Yeah.
All right.
All right, we're going back in time. All right.
I'm
All right,
really going
Grappo.
back in time and going double
So,
speed here.
Yeah, let's see. 6 farm. Yeah, Chachi is not in good shape. Exileh's just seeing if there's anything in the jungle. Will not hit any targets, so we'll see what's up with that one. And double Darren's picked up by Chachi here. Top lane still is 2 versus 2. Got these Australia lanes on the go. Maxlore is able to get away at this pink ward, so still big advantages for Giants.
All right, I just watched it again in 18 speed. It's actually bounced first wave because he was behind the tempo. He ran into the freeze in bottom lane of Smittyj because the lanes were matched up and they were on like counter swap. And he just couldn't get access to the wave. Smittyj was just keeping him away, and there was some jungle presence too. So Vizicsacsi just really ran around and did nothing for a while, hoping that the wave would eventually push out. People tonight so much farm here. That's kind of the downside of matching, you know, top laner versus top laner in this phase of the game, and sticking on a tower each as opposed to the counter swap. So Giants definitely with a big punish there, and 2 key members falling behind already on the side of Unicorns of Love.
Hey, you said it in Champion Select. Like, if Unicorns of Love don't get snowballing in the early mid game, then good luck.
It does come at a cost for SONSTAR. You always have a price to pay. When you get 1 member ahead, usually it means on the other side you're the opposite member falls, and that's in this case the AD carry.
Exileh gonna jump.
Smittyj is fine here, by the way.
Yeah, he's gonna jump away with Hemoplague and back on out. So eventually, Vlad will out-sustain the Yasuo unless he kills them all in one go. So that's kind of an issue right here.
By eventually, we mean immediately.
Yeah, right now. In the top lane, Smittyj, he's just going to town on to Chachi, but
Yeah,
he did
he's
use his
fine
flash
for
for that.
That's
That's a bit weird because he wasn't really in kill range for top lane Gragas.
that is still a Maokai. So both teams definitely showing why they're lower in our expectations here. Questionable decision making. Maxlore really wants to drive this home. Deny as much farm as he can.
Nice sidestep, and gets the takedown, which is not a takedown onto Chachi, but he's able to now zone him away and help Smitty take the tower. But there's only one lonely castle minion there.
Now there's one thing that came with the price, and obviously that was SONSTAR, and he fell behind. He obviously went for a high mobility setup too with the rush on the swiftness boots, slightly worse on this patch too. And he's dropping in CS right now. He was a little bit somewhat even right now, but he found challenge Caitlyn, and now he's getting roamed down by Move.
Nice move coming out from him and Hylissang. SONSTAR's gonna get snared down. Soulflare comes up, not quite enough to finish him off. Smittyj into the fight. Gonna have to back off. Not really a fight for him right now. Chachi TP's in.
Why don't you
very
cancel
late.
that?
Yeah.
It's like Chachi doesn't want to have any farm. Look at the bot lane right now. It's gonna slowly push out away from him.
No.
Just take a look over on your mini-map. That wave is arced right in front of the tower, which means the Unicorns of Love creeps will get there first, gently push it out and stack a massive wave that Smittyj can then go collect, collect fast start, get your 2 on the farm, and go up. This was a really bad TP from Vizicsacsi.
He is not going to be a happy little tree in this game. 9 minutes in, and he has 25 farm.
Yeah, look, Veritas now has to go push out that wave. It's an AD carry that has to walk up essentially for maybe 6-7 creeps. Maybe then the back end of the wave that comes out, but that's a huge loss in terms of catch-up. Look, this wave was parked in front of the Unicorns of Love Tower just a while ago. Veritas now has to patch up on a play that they initiated themselves, and that's the mark for me for a weak team. It's when they start a play and they don't see what's going to happen on the back end of it. They operate in a vacuum. Not one of those Dyson Airblades.
Exileh down mid lane, and we've taken away this farm. But has a little bit of time to farm now while Knight is not here, but there's so big CS advantages in the mid and top lane right now. At least Veritas is getting some farm for himself, and we can see what a fed Caitlyn can do with also 2 levels over SONSTAR, but
yeah, and they're gonna look to like use this wave to siege. Siege is never going to work, so Unicorns will probably come to the realization that's not going to work, and they'll likely go for the Dragon instead then, right after. So they're peeling off Vizicsacsi too. They're actually going for a good old-fashioned bot lane party instead. So they want to cut their losses, but again, this is costing farm for their top laners. So yeah, they traded for an objective, but at one point, when you funnel too little CS into your top laner, you may pay the price for this later on.
Bot lane tower is eventually going to go down now to Unicorns of Love. That's a TP out from Exileh to stop the push from Smittyj. So actually that's really nice, getting a lot of farm in the top lane to try and even up the mid lane.
Yeah, I like this solution from Unicorns.
Yeah. So
I think it's a good creative adaptation, but it still doesn't excuse the fault they made earlier. But I think this is one of the more creative ways to get out of this little trap they set for themselves. Right now the goal is equal. There's a power advantage on the side of Unicorns.
And move goes into the mid lane to clear out the rest of those minions. So how are we doing in terms of items? Knight's actually going to pick up the Down Guard going up against Exileh, Move and Veritas. So they're going for the Spirit Precision. Obviously in this game there's no big AP threats.
Maxlore finds out that his enemy jungler just took away the red buff.
Yep.
So Maxlore right now is catching up on move. Getting Scuttle Grab too. There's a lot of pink wards here on Giants, so fundamentals of vision definitely there. Yeah, SONSTAR is just a little bit stuck right now.
I feel like that's the story of every game I see with SONSTAR, and unfortunately.
Not his fault though. I mean, I don't think there's much to be done, because if we want to praise Smittyj for being up 45 CS, you got to praise SONSTAR for being only down slightly over 25.
Yeah. It's difficult to spin it really. But Maxlore has been catching up as well, and as you mentioned, overmove. He's now a level overmove, despite how the early game went for him. After Hylissang made that play onto him. Won't be able to get the steal on to Raptor mid lane. Hylissang is pushing up.
Yeah, it's because Unicorns just have a tendency to group up quite a large amount of times. You saw that play that was initiated on the bottom too, you know, both Hylissang and Move showed up for a gank there on the animated carry that was already behind. Didn't pay off, and then Vizicsacsi finishes his teleport.
And you see the trap max once again by Veritas. Very few Caitlyn players maxing the Q nowadays. And we'll be placing down that wall in the mid lane. So 12 minutes into this one, we have basically no advantage to either team in terms of gold, but that one tower advantage to the Unicorns of Love. And the first dragon is Cloud. We have the is the Cloud day for us, I feel, Crepper.
Yeah, well, like Cloud, very little silver lining for us in terms of dragon selection.
Yeah.
That's why teams kind of passed by the Dragon 2. Unicorns could have picked it up. They didn't really opt into that. We need to judge how are they going to execute the 1-3-1 composition, however. Yesterday, they had the fundamentals down. Good pressure on each lane. Backed out when they needed to. But then Exileh kind of got into his own head and looked at himself. He's like, I got to be the MVP. I'm really one player of the game here. Started going for outplays and failed one after the other.
Arrow in the mid lane. Swing and a miss. I'm not going to say that was a dodge, because Veritas was literally just like going for the minions and like, oh, an arrow, all right.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point that you make right there. If you want to hit skill shots a lot more and you're starting as a player, or even just like you're an experienced player, you want to coincide it with predictable events.
Yeah.
You know, so on lower elos that means predictable space checks, but it's almost as easy as coinciding it when people kind of lock in the auto attack frame, because it pauses them for a fraction of a second. When you predict that somebody's going to go, especially for range creeps, it's not easy to see when people are just going to step in forward, go for a range creep. That's when you can really just predict an arrow in their face, and you can work around those timings. You can also predict that when this guy goes for the range creep, that is when we're going to strike, and everybody's on the same page.
Yeah, you can see that when the health of the minion, of course, goes low, but it's slightly harder from a longer range, of course, but when you're in laning phase, that definitely becomes a thing.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting small mechanics that we never really see and talk about, like contesting every minion and that type of stuff and laning phase, but something to kind of take for granted when you watch pro play.
It's a lot of these things, and then it becomes layers of decision making as well, where this guy is not walking here because of something the other guy could do, so essentially they don't do anything, but it's like a double mind game, right?
Yeah.
A whole reason of why there's no action on the bottom lane, why there's barely any 2v2 kills. I mean, one of the reasons is there's barely any 2v2s left in the game.
Right.
But there's not many. Yeah, that's a big one. Don't clear taps if you're support.
Yes.
Just accept that the wall is there, or he'll make you pay for it.
Yeah, you don't want to be taking down the wall, really. You are not a Titan. But taking a look at move, he's going to go for the Cloud, hoping the forecast for today is cloudy with a chance of Infernal. That would be great for the Unicorns. But he's going to make sure that he pushes this one along.
Yeah, he wants the sunshine that's behind the cloud.
That would be good. But then the next one happens to be Cloud as well. We'll see. It's we open up the present. And what's it going to be? Infernal! Yes. There we go.
That's it. We already saw that one.
Yep. We predicted that.
This is where Disco Inferno starts playing in the background. Sadly, we don't have the rights to that song.
Also, no Victor in this game, so no disco ball. Oh, Exileh jumping onto Knight, going to get the ultimate as well. Last breath will get the arm penetration, but with a TP coming in, will be cancelled out from Smittyj. I believe Chachi got on top of him, and he'll carry on laning.
But it was enough to kind of
assert his dominance.
The Yasuo off his tail too.
In this lane. Yeah. Top lane, going to be tanks fighting against each other. You can see these intense mechanics as Hylissang joins the fight. Going to be the ultimate burnt by Smittyj, but move is coming down from the bottom side to cut him off.
I hate that tunnel. Like, why would you ever do that? Tunnel into a lane.
Yeah, meanwhile in the bottom lane, Exileh's going to jump back onto Knight, charges up Ties of Blood, just dancing around him.
Yeah, that's what you want to do in this matchup. You want to go in, force the Ties of Blood to be casted, then go out, make it miss, go in again on the creep. Hopefully there's some creeps left here. Veritas takes a big spear. Kind of heard it out because here's a collapse coming in. Looking at a big fight here, Pulse.
Yeah, he's going to be backing away.
Not looking at a big fight here, Pulse.
No, we are not. Crepo, but Maxlore jumps over the wall. They're still within range where they could hit each other.
So let's increase the tension in our voices.
We are indeed. There's a ward there, so Unicorns know where they are. They're pushing down the mid lane. Spear lands onto Exileh. That's a lot of damage. But
arrow comes in.
Exileh. He's dropping low. He's going to have to back up, but he has the Hero Plague. He's going to die for certain. Good bubble onto Chachi. Knight comes into the volley, into the fray. First blood over to Knight. They will follow after with a volley as well.
And to many of the fans' dismay, it's actually Giants picking up first blood here. Fantastic arrow off screen from SONSTAR. And the composition is catered all around enabling Exileh with many knockups, but he's the first one to drop, just like yesterday.
Spear off to the side as well. So Giants completely zone him away from this tower. We'll take that tower down, evening up the tower total. And
the one Giants fan stuck in the herd of angry Unicorns fan. Yeah, I appreciate you.
Oh, and now Giants will be back in the way. They will bounce back, I'm sure. So, great arrow from
Exileh is simply overextending. I mean, when everybody is watching you and you have Windball available, that's just a mistake. You can't be that far up. If you are, you better be a really quick reactive player and have that wall ready for the arrow. So you could have been tracking the Ashe. So again, this is Exileh, I think, getting caught in the moment, just like he did yesterday.
Or even just preemptive placing it down and backing off when it's worn off. But that will just result in the mid tower and also the kill, of course, to Giants. So that will accumulate into a 2,000 gold lead for them. So they are ahead in this game. That gold went over to the Knight. So we'll swing that over to his side against Exileh. Exileh was very much itemizing to fight against Knight.
Yeah, but so, I mean, Knight was rather itemizing correctly too with the Zonias. He was a Knight in Shining Armor. In that particular fight, you know, goes in, gets the combo off, and then turns golden.
He did indeed. That was what happened. Next dragon is Infernal, but going to be a little weight off that one. Trap line has been set up mid lane by Veritas. A little wonky again. I like the curve is fine, but the spacing is a little suspect to me. Exileh spot lane doesn't land the Q, the Steel Tempest Tornado. Knight definitely has the upper hand in this lane now. He's gone a little bit ahead. Maxlore clearing out this crab as well around dragon area, but still a while until that one spawns.
And we're starting to see why Vladimir is such an oppressive pick overall, and why when you ask all the pro players about their opinion on this champion, they go, "Nice champ, by the way." Because he's such an annoying laning pattern. It's like you hit him once and suddenly he's full HP every single time.
When he's behind, he plays defensive. When he's ahead, he just dives you under tower, combos you, Sanguine pulls out, and there's like nothing you can do about it. Like your tower becomes the inner tower at that point, and then it's just like, well, what do I do now? And Knight definitely has the advantages in this lane up against Exileh, so really hurting him. And we're not really seeing that snowball from Unicorns of Love that we were talking about in Champion Selects. And I just feel later on this game is going to get harder and harder unless Exileh can find the outplay. Going to guess wrong.
Yeah. Brings in the Ghost here too in this matchup. You know, added mobility. Worst case, he goes for the turbo pool out of there. No creeps to chase for Knight, for Exileh rather. Giants setting up preemptive vision control right here. They definitely want that Infernal on their side. Let's look at Vizicsacsi where he's at right now. He was down a lot early. He's catching up slowly, but still down the odd 40 CS there in the top lane, so that's a big gap.
And at this point, we will say goodbye to the Herald, who has returned to the Void.
He couldn't watch it anymore.
No, he was I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm done with this.
There's so much bloodshed, you know? One entire kill in 20 minutes. He's like, nah.
I can't deal with this.
This is European LCS. I'm like, this.
Yep.
Usually I don't see a single kill all day.
Yeah.
Where is the excessive lane swapping?
I don't know. What is even going on in this game? It's a bloodbath. Oh, Move is on his way into the mid lane and will tunnel back in. You can see a lot of tunnels on his side of the map. He's been setting up that network. SONSTAR is catching up in farm, but still not in the place he'd really want to be. But despite that, mid lane and top lane are still maintaining their gold advantages and their CS leads that they had from the laning phase, so they are still ahead. Chachi just being annoying and stopping the recall. But as we approach mid game, what do we need to see from Unicorns of Love? Because they don't have that stepping stone.
They need to
from the early game snowball.
Combine the pieces. Really, they need to get access to a multi-man knock-up, whether it's from Exileh himself, Vizicacsi's Q, or moves unburrow. And then obviously you need to combo that in the Yasuo and see that somebody dies. And I think they can't even get Knight into it because they won't be able to kill him. He'll probably get out of that. And Hustlin has a great exhaust, so it's going to be very hard, I feel, for the Unicorns to even get out of these team fights if they happen.
Even at this stage, it's like so hard to kill Knight. There's an arrow. Doesn't land once again. But still taking these pot shots. Maxlore just going to pounce away, but Move will predict it right into the ultimate from Exileh. With the wind wall coming up, and Knight comes in. Looking to disengage Veritas, takes a very risky route back to his team. Will net back to Move, takes a spear. It's going to go onto that Rek'Sai.
Yeah, good attempt at a pickoff, and Maxlore doesn't drop, and more importantly, Vizicsacsi doesn't TP in at the start of the fight, which makes it so that Giants gain momentum. They now have rotation to mid that can be used to force the Unicorns to react. Then they'll likely path back to the Dragon. And a surprise arrow may happen, because right now for Giants it's down, but we've seen it so often. When people think Ashe arrow stays down forever, SONSTAR may get access to it later.
Yeah, here comes the TP coming out from Exileh. Oh, that was to the tower, so okay. He's not really going to get a flank or anything. They can't combo
he
off it,
teleported on the tower instead of the ward behind, because he was so afraid of, you know, getting turned upon.
Chachi went very far forward. He's going to jump back into the fight onto SONSTAR. There's the combo, but only lands onto one target. This is not looking like a good fight for Unicorns just yet. Giants is going to return with some damage and put more onto Move. There's a good Q coming out from the Yasuo, but Unicorns are so chunked out, and no one's really taking critical damage from Giants.
Later in the game, this may be enough when Veritas gets strong enough to single-handedly carry these fights, a la Steelback, but right now it wasn't enough. There's still the disengage coming out from Giants. But we're still in a point of the game where the base damages are high enough for some of these non-damage dealers to have an impact, you know, like the Rek'Sai, like the Maokai, but later on, it's going to get a lot harder for Unicorns to win fights like this.
Really interesting in this game, honestly. When I saw Unicorns of Love going against Giants, I was expecting fight after fight after fight. Super sloppy and messy game where lots of kills are going down, but one kill in 23 minutes. And now there goes the Infernal going over to Unicorns, so that'll be the second Dragon for them.
Well, they could definitely use damage amplifiers in this game.
Yeah, for sure. Going to be weighing a lot on that Caitlyn to get snowballing in this game. Get some, snowball's the wrong word, get more farm. Mid lane, a wave clear coming out. Knight's going to get... Oh, Veritas. Ultimate goes down on him from SONSTAR. He's bounced all over the place. We'll have to back away. And Exileh jumps in. Chachi will pick up the kill onto Hustlin. Now Unicorns have to make their way out. Chachi's going to be the sacrificial tree. And Exileh still trying to escape, but he's not going to escape from the Gragas body slam flash.
The surprise arrow, you just completely forget about it when you're sieging and it hits you in the face. Ironically, Veritas got saved by the tidal wave, canceling one of the best ultimates we've seen today there from Smittyj. Knock up. Veritas is going to fly into the enemy turret, but then flew straight into a tidal wave. Saved him.
go. We have the jungle battle, and Move will come out ahead, get the smite down.
The crowd is loving it.
Yeah, that was good move by him. Oh, Maxlore over the wall. He's going to find one back. 88 gold over to him.
Yeah, if your smite's still up, the other guy just smited the other buff.
Yeah, maybe he missed and it goes down to very low. But all right, we're going to see that mid lane trade.
Yeah, so Knight's kind of posturing at the front of this fight here. Smittyj, they're setting this up. SONSTAR's communicating as the arrow. Look at Veritas. Knocked in. What a beautiful ulti here from Smittyj. Sadly gets cancelled, but then Exileh commits too. They commit everything to kill Hustlin. They have to use the flash too, so much is used here. And good body slam. Smittyj really played this fight extraordinarily well.
Giants starting to get the upper hand a little bit in these fights. Coming down to SONSTAR on those arrows, so really doing a lot this game. Knight has picked up the Proto Belt. Cool to see that on him.
Yeah, it's going to influence this matchup a lot, because while we were talking about how Exileh was dancing in and out the range of Tides of Blood, Proto Belt is one of those influences. When you respect a certain amount of zone, Vladimir can surprise you by now dashing forward, getting the bolts off for more damage, and then suddenly shifting the entire scope of the battle. And then at one point, when you're behind in the trades, you can no longer challenge anymore either. You're closing the window for maybe an all-in. So, really cool item when used well.
Yeah, I'm seeing that a lot on Vladimir. Went for that immediately after the Zhonya's Hourglass. So we'll see what the next item from him is. Looks like it's going to be Ryze coming out here. He is ahead in this game. There comes a TP out from Chachi. SONSTAR has been located, and the tree is on the way, but Hustlin's just kind of flop away from him and back off. So with the top tower going down to Maxlore and Knight, and Unicorns aren't really getting anything from this. Now pushing down the mid lane.
They're going to pick up the middle tower, so that's definitely going to happen because they invested a teleport into it. Smittyj still stuck in the bottom lane. It's all about Giants getting back into the mid lane to defend, but they're actually going for an aggressive pincer.
Yeah, Smittyj is coming in. Arrow does not connect onto anyone. Smittyj over the wall, lands onto two. Veritas dropping low already. Human Plague is on top of him. Hustlin coming in there. Knight picks up a kill onto Veritas. Ultimate in from Exileh. It's not going to be enough to pick up a kill just yet. Move, trying to get out of this fight. SONSTAR is free to do everything he wants. Protobelt comes out, double kill to Knight. And Chachi's also going to be slaughtered here. Triple kill for Knight. 4-4-0. And Knight's turn to Baron.
Yeah, Knight picks up the triple kill, but it was all due to the setup of Smittyj here. Fantastic teleport, good timing, forced them into a bad decision too by pressing the side waves, and then he plays the perfect pinball machine with Veritas' body there. Fantastic play from the Giants. Fantastic pincer.
Yeah, Giants are very low here, but I mean, it's only Hylissang who's alive, so he's trying to line up the perfect soul flare for the steal. Not going to happen. Smites away by Maxlore, and everyone will get out alive with that buff. Great fight by Giants, and he gained a lot from that. So let's see the start of it once again.
Yeah, so right here, teleport comes in. Knight doesn't get caught engaging too far. Arrow whiffs, but look at it hurting Veritas. And I don't know where he's positioning and why, but he gets knocked around and just drops instantly. He's maybe done 2 all attacks in this fight. And then, yes, there's a 2-man ulti on Maxlore and Knight, but he pulls under it, and Exileh just simply does not have the damage, and that is also something we talked about. Unicorns of Love, they need to be engaging these fights, finding out the squishies. SONSTAR, despite having a deficit early in the game, went untouched, and he's dealing moderate amount of damage. Everybody on the side of Giants is dealing moderate amounts of damage.
I would say that Vlad is dealing more than the moderate amount of damage now. Triple big items have been picked up, 4, 0, and 3 on him. He is just absolutely huge. He's farming across the storm. And Unicorns of Love trying to defend on this tower, but the minion is just refusing to die. Knight's going to step up and just... This tower is basically gone now.
Yeah, a lot of moderate amount of damage in rapid succession.
Yes, yeah. That is very true for Giants in the last couple of fights. But Unicorns of Love do have those 2 dragons, but it's silver linings, I guess.
If it was like 80% extra 80 NAP, maybe. But
yeah, that would be very helpful.
Just the small 8, not going to be quite enough here for the Unicorns.
Not in this game. Bottom tower goes down. There's the one Giants fan. Super happy with that one going down. And yeah, like Giants are just all over Unicorns right now, making great use of this Baron buff.
Yeah, and for Giants, this must feel great. Not only are you losing every game in the LCS so far, you walk here in the studio, the entire crowd's against you. And then, except that one guy.
Yeah.
Let's call him Bob.
Bob, okay.
All right, Bob's cheering for you. All right, Bob has multiplied.
He has, yeah. Fantastic.
Hang on. Hylissang gets thrown in.
Gonna come in.
It's pop.
Hylissang is destroyed, and now Chachi will be chased after as well. Veritas trying to put a bit of damage down, but the tree is just completely dead. Knight's gonna come in there for the double kill. Veritas having to back off. SONSTAR will slay him, and now Exileh trying to escape from this, does block off the tides of blood. Move comes into the fight, but there's a 5 versus 2 under the tower. Double kill coming out from SONSTAR, and Move is locked up when he's trying to burrow to safety. He will also fall for the triple kill in for SONSTAR, and the 5-0 wipe.
An absolutely disgusting dive right there, following a good pickoff on the enemy support here. Giants take complete control of the game, and Unicorns of Love in game 2 will need to go back to the drawing board and reevaluate their choices in this draft, and especially how they want to cater playing around Exileh in the mid lane with this Yasuo pick, because what was a counter pick got completely, in my opinion, dumpstered by Knight. Yeah,
12-1 now, 2 inhibitors down. Giants in such a commanding position in this game now. 13,000 gold advantage, and Infernal Dragon is live, so most likely Giants will just pick that up before going back to base.
Yeah, and it would actually be fantastic to see some of the players on Giants if they can make this a 2-0. Unicorns coming in, and the standings were actually quite high. Middle of the pack, Giants dead last, 0 wins. But it can swing so quickly if you can take out your rival competitors as quickly as they take out Hylissang right here with a 2-0. Maxlore, the zoning spear. And they can just dive on Vizicsacsi. Move is still in the base here. And yeah, Knight. We're going to see a Vladimir ban next game. There's almost no way around it.
I mean, that's first pick from Giants right there. And this was the closing out this one. 5 people under the tower. There's a couple nice things that happened for Exileh. He can't go anywhere. Great bubble actually to interrupt the burrow from Move, and he was screwed either way, really. He would go right into Smittyj and Hustlin regardless. But well played by SONSTAR, picking up 3 kills in that fight now. 4-0, 4 deaths not found, and stark contrast to a lot of the other games we've seen from SONSTAR, getting caught out a lot, but not in this game.
Yeah, he was put behind yet again, this time by more of a strategic choice by Giants. They put all the advantages in Smittyj. For me, Smittyj paid that off in kind, winning some of the key fights. Right now, everybody's getting ahead, and there's crazy score lines.
Hustlin feeding, though.
So, yeah. 100% death participation.
Get that as
but he knows his place.
He does.
As a support, he's building the Mikhails. Serve,
get in line, know your place. Able to clear out this minion wave for now, and like this by Veritas, he's leaving a gap open in the trap line. Oh, he's just filled it. It's like, go through here, and all group up for
it's
our
like
AoE.
one of those air traffic controllers on when they're going to play this way, guys.
Come in here.
It's not a trap at all.
No, it's so difficult for Unicorns of Love to set up the wombo combo with Yasuo. I mean, like, you have to get a multi-man knockup from Rek'Sai, which is difficult. Chachi, again, will have to try and do the same. Here comes the arrow. The full-on engagement move is going to get locked down. Here's a double knockup from Exileh. He'll be backing away. Triple man ultimate coming in from Knight. He'll be chunking them all back to base.
Triple man ulti, but no triple man death, sadly, because there's just not enough damage.
In
follow
quick
up
succession.
in rapid succession, so Knight's fine. But he can just try again.
Rip. Yeah,
and that's Hylissang.
It's very rare you see a Vladimir kill someone with Sanguine Pool, but there was nothing that Hylissang could do being slowed down. Boov and Chachi are going to come in for one last hurrah, but we'll see if they can make it happen. Veritas is able to get all the damage down that he wants to, but it's really not enough at this point in the game. They're all being chased back. Smittyj will go down here, though. Knight will have to back off. He gets a lot of damage back from his Crimson Rush.
Yeah. It was a great wind wall by Exileh. The inhibitor still dropped slightly over eager there by Smittyj. Did not realize all the projectiles were being blocked, but still, the conga line of minions is streaming in right now. Nobody can deal with Knight. The wall is down, and the Nexus will soon follow.
Yeah, Unicorns of Love trying to hold the line, but not going to happen, I don't feel. Or maybe going to jump back in. A lot of them are back in healthy positions. Knight's going to get chased down here right into Zhonya's. Hustlin dropping low himself. We used the Mikhail to try and get away. Knight jumps back into the fight, gets the first kill, will be knocked up and taken down. There's the shutdown for Exileh, and Unicorns of Love. Oh, the minions! The super minions, can they clear in time? Solo! The minions finish off the Nexus. Giants take the game.
One of the most unexpected finish for the game. Quite an unexpected result in the grand scheme of things. Giants come out swinging, more proactive compositions, a lot of stronger lanes here. They put SONSTAR behind early, but Smittyj with some fantastic flanks, pincers, and teleports, and some really great explosive casks.
I think the most surprising thing for me was just the way it happened. It wasn't maybe as much of the result, because yes, Giants were the